Okay. So can everyone see my screen? I don't actually see you guys here, so if you have any audio for me, just please say. All right, thank you, Virginia. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Canva Basics introduction session. And then we'll also have the Canva Advanced in about 2 weeks. My name is Cheska Robinson. I am a training specialist here at NERIC, and I'm also a integration tech coach for K-12 educators in CAT region BOCES. Before that, I was also a science teacher for about 13 years. I'm really excited that you are all here with me. And let's go ahead and start talking about our objective. So our objective for today, so I'm just going to try to make sure that you are familiar with the basic navigation of Canva. So I'll talk about the dashboard, the editor, some of the tools, and then I'd like to ask you to just give yourself some time to play around, experiment with it, and get to know Canva. It's really just giving yourself some time to be familiar with it so that you're being more comfortable. And of course, I'm also tying in some of our New York State computer science digital fluency standards. We are actually touching upon the strands impacts of computing, which is the particular one is in society, how we're using this in our classrooms, and digital literacy. Okay, and also just a quick reminder about the data privacy agreements and security statements. When in doubt, check it out. That's what I always tell my teachers. So please talk to your building administration and with your IT department whenever you're using any new EdTech tools. So Canva itself, particularly Canva for Education, it is free. If you're a teacher, you can get a verified free account and you'll be able to have access to the premium features. But you just got to make sure that your school superintendent did sign the opt-in for the data privacy agreement so that you can use it with your students. You can use it now, for your personal use, for your classroom materials. But if you're using it in the classroom with students, you do need to make sure that you have a li not a license, but a DPA, assigned DPA with your school district. All right, so here's our agenda. Like I said, we'll talk about our dashboard um, and our editor and navigation tools. I'll talk also a little bit about the templates and how to organize that, to keep that organized, and then saving and sharing. I do thank you for those who took the time to answer the pre-session. And so, for those of you who had specific questions, I will be sending out an email later tomorrow with a copy of this video for your reference, your review, and I'll also give you some links to help you out. So since this is a model schools activity, um, oh man, look at that. I did forget to turn on like my timer. Since this is a Model Schools webinar, I'm focusing more about what we can do in for education here. So I will be toggling in and out of my screen and also showing you my own dashboard so you can see that. Okay, so I'm doing that now, and here we go. So when you log in, actually, uh, you're going to put in the canva.com in your Omnibar. And if you don't have a Canva for Education account, you can actually just put canva.com/education, I believe. All right. And then you're going to see this in the middle of the page where it says teachers get verified. So if you don't have a Canva for Education account, you can go here and then or up here in this button, put in your work's school email address, and they'll send you a verification email. And that way, you'll get all the premium features as well. I'm going to go back though, since I'm already logged in under my work account. And so when you log in, you are dropped right into what they call the dashboard. And it is pretty overwhelming. So I'm just going to focus on some of the main key areas um, for you to know. So in order for you to create a design, you can click right here, create a design. You could start from scratch or use a template. Or you could also use this middle area. This is what I call the Magic Design Bar. So this is incorporated with Magic Studio, which is their set of AI features. So you could go to the search bar here and type in a few search words that you're looking for, whether it's your subject, your grade, or maybe just an idea of what you want to make. And you'll get some suggestions and even some templates at the bottom. Now, if you continue to go down here, right over here in the middle, where under the heading you might want to try, this is called your Discover tab. So anything that you want to use, they can give you some examples based on the resource type. And by resource type, it's just what type of media or product you want to do. So for example, if you are a Google Jamboard user and you're looking for an alternative, you might want to look into Canva's whiteboards. So if I click here, these are all the different formats or types of whiteboards that they recommend. And if I continue to scroll down, it'll give you some templates that you can use. So some graphic organizers, some brainstorming flowcharts, etc. I'm going to go back up here and return to my home. Okay, home. All right. So if you ever want to go back home, you can click on the Canva icon here, and that will bring you there too. So I'm going to go back to my For You here. Underneath your Discover tab, this is also your recent design. So this is everything that I've been making in the last few weeks. So I could just go jump right in and click on something that I was making to continue working on it. And that includes anything that has been shared with me as well with any of my colleagues here. Now let's take a look over here at the left sidebar. Okay, so the Magic Studio, this is part of it, and we'll take a look at that in a few minutes. But when you click on projects, that will bring you to what I call your personal workplace. Okay, so this is going to be especially where you're going to find your folders. So I've only been using Canva for maybe 6 to 8 months. And if you're using it consistently, everything tends to pile up, as you can see. So it's very important to have some type of organization system using folders and a naming convention. So if you click over to your second tab here, your folders, it's going to show you some of the folders. Now, I'm actually, like I said, working with a NERIC account. So there's 350 people within here. These two are my own folders. And then the other three are folders that were shared with other coworkers within this organization. So, like I said, I do two particular roles. I work for NERIC as a training specialist, so I have my folder here. So this presentation is actually in this folder, and then as a tech coach, the materials that I make for my teachers are here. So I'm in my folders, and I can go to my Add New button here to create a new folder. Let's do that a little bit here so you can see. Okay, so you can create a new folder. I'll just type in demo. And you can also invite colleagues or teammates. So maybe you are in a department, right? For secondary setting, you can put all your science teachers in there and you can all create your science materials together. And or maybe you could also invite your students, right? So, but that's another conversation. So you can invite them by class. Down here, you can see the groups that have folders shared with me. So you can see how many are in there. And it's very much like sharing Google products, like a Google Doc, where they have certain access rights. So if I click continue, that's going to show up here. And I can either drag some of my projects into here or select something and it will ask me to do so. Now, if I go over to, let's say, my tech coach folder, right? This is great to have a folder, but it's also important to, I think, address the naming convention, especially if you got a lot of different materials you're working with. So if you're an elementary teacher, you might want to create folders by subject that you're teaching, math, ELA, science. Or if you're a secondary teacher, you might want to create by your different classes or teams or subject that you're also doing. So my naming convention here, I just kind of try to keep it, it's kind of long, but it's the best way I can keep it organized. So it would be the division that I have, so CRB or NARIC. Then the middle part is what topic or what product it is, and then the end would be the year. So here I was just doing AI sessions earlier this week. So CRB, WebEx Wednesdays, AI series, there's my initials, and then there's the year. If you're working on something, let's say that you're sharing with somebody. So let's see, let me actually go back to my Lyric folder. I tend to have more shared items there. So for example, um, Virginia and I just worked on our science CBT one. So here I have my division name, what the topic is, what the date, but I also have our initials there. I hope that you can see. So it lets me know at a glance how many people are there and who's worked on it last. And when you hover on it, you can also see who has it. So I'm the owner. She can have access to it and she can edit it as well. And you can continue to add other people. Same thing as you would with your Google products. So have everyone from your district or anyone with the links. They can access it, but they can't edit it. It's just very similar to how that works. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the home here. And here we have templates. And this is really the most interesting part here, especially for our teachers. So when you go to templates, I would recommend checking out the education part. And you already have tons of access to all these pre-made lessons. So you can look at any of their lessons or their materials by grade. You can also filter that by subject, all right? And or resource type. So maybe you're looking for a PowerPoint or you're looking for a classroom poster or an activity. So you could further narrow things down just by clicking on the type of tab or just even using their filter. So I am going to go back to, oh, actually want to show you a little bit more. Maybe you're not a particular subject teacher, but they do have also a selection of what they call future skills. So many of you, I don't know if you're in elementary, they're doing their standardized testing right now, right? So maybe you don't want to go on to new content and they've already done their review for the testing. So maybe you want to pull up one of these future skills. Maybe there's a finance lesson in there or a digital citizenship lesson that you could pull up ready made, ready to go. You can just either print it out or share it with your students. And then down, if you keep going, those once the website kind of gets a hold of your browsing history, they'll start to recommend some templates for you based on your browsing history. So some templates as well. Okay. So I think I will go to grade and let's do something. I see a lot of teachers or who responded that were at least in the kindergarten to grade 6 grades. So I'm gonna probably do kindergarten. So to find a template, you could either do create a design, use the search bar, or you could just go straight here. Okay. And then here's some resources for kindergarten. And it is very overwhelming. There's literally thousands of templates that you can look through, right? So one of my tips would be when you get time, I know, I, when you do have the time, just set like 5 minutes or 10 minutes on your timer and just put in the search words that you would like to look for and just bookmark all the things that you want to use at some point. So let's say that this I really like. If you hover above it, you can star it and that will save to a starred or bookmark page that you can use later. So that way you're not really wasting prep time just looking and scrolling through. You can go straight into your starred page and start creating your content. So if I go back to my sidebar here, I can access all of my starred information by scrolling all the way down here. There's my starred folder. Okay. And here's that all about me kindergarten poster that I just saved. But here's all the other things that I saved that I know that I'm going to use. So I know I'm going to use a bingo sheet for my training. I know I'm going to use, I haven't used this one yet. So this might be my next template. So I go straight to my start whenever I am about to create a new project. So once you have a template that you really like to use, you can just go to your start and just double click on it, hopefully, or click on your, what I like to say, your sleeping snowman or your Sunday. Okay, let's try it again. All right, and then you can use this template. All right. So now we've actually left the Canva dashboard and we're now in our Canva editor. So let me just talk about that real quick. Let me see. I'm just gonna go to my screen here real quick and just put the mute real quick. There you go. All right. So here's our editor. We got a lot of areas here to talk about. So the the blue part here is your header. It's very similar to most of your software. There's your hamburger icon to bring you back to your dashboard, your file settings, which are just the major actions regarding your layout here. You can change your file name here. You can also change it by clicking in this area. So maybe I do like this all about me poster for my students. Maybe it could be a great first week activity. Or, being a science teacher, I could change it and make it into an all about a scientist worksheet. So, you know, they can't really be on a computer right now during testing. Maybe I'll make this and I'll print it out so they can, color it and fill it in, something like that. So, just some quick ideas. And here's your undo, redo buttons. I haven't done anything, so it won't show up. But here I like to point out, yes, Noelle. So great question. So she just asked, there are some that are showing the crown icon. So if I click here, you might see some with crowns, and that's a premium feature. And that's only because you're using a basic free account. However, if you are a teacher, you can get a free premium account by going through the Canva for educators. You just need to sign in with your email address and they just need to verify you, and that usually takes about 2 to 3 days. So once that you're verified, you could still use any of these features. So as I go through these, you'll see that some of them has those premium features, and I can still use it because I'm in an education part. You're welcome. So like I said, up here you've got your uh, my initials. I don't have an avatar, but I can see who's working on this, and it's just me. But let's say yes. So Virginia just said in the chat, if you have a school email and it just went away, what did it say? If you have a school mail, yes. There you go. Any school staff, as long as you have a school work email address, you get the free premium account. You just have to get that verified. Yes. So yeah, you do need to verify that. So you will be asked to give some documentation. It's just an ID. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna keep going here. So there's your header, and then over here is really what you need to know. This is called your object panel or your sidebar, and this is all your navigation tools. So if I click on design, maybe if I change my mind, I might just do another, I don't know, all about me. Oops, if I can spell all about me poster. So maybe I changed my mind and I could quickly just go to design and look for a different type of template. This is awesome. This is going to be a nice quick activity for, during standardized testing when they're done, they could color, or, and just sit there quietly. So I can do that through design and I don't have to go all the way back to my dashboard and do all of that stuff again. I could do it right here within my canvas. And by the way, the gray area is called your canvas, kind of like an art space. Now, elements is going to be your most commonly used tool here because this is where you are going to add components to your layout here. So it is everything. It's your images, it's your stickers, your photos, videos, audio. If you're more of that data type, you could give the charts, tables. Picture frames are fun and they're just frames that take the shape or photos that take the shape of whatever frame that you use. And then this is new, I think. I didn't notice this before, but like I said, there's literally thousands of clip arts and types of things you can look for, and they actually create in these collections that you can use. So that's really cool. So let's add something here. Maybe I need to add like a picture of me. Oh, I do have one. So you can go down to your uploads, and this is where your personal storage is. You can upload files like pictures, clip art that you have, and that's me shaking my fist at the sun during the solar eclipse because the clouds just happened to roll in at the very last minute there when it reached totality. So it's pretty angry, shaking my fist at the skies. There's my Bitmoji. I can just click and drag it and have it go into this picture frame. So that's the same for any videos that you might have, you might want to upload for a class presentation or audio. I don't really have audio as much as I do the other two. So that's uploads. I just quickly came down to that. But let's go back to elements. Maybe we could add some more things here. My favorite animal is the corgi. All right, so we type corgi. All right, you can scroll the way down. You can even just select the tabs across. So maybe we just want corgi graphics or even corgi photos. All right, so it goes all the way through with videos. I don't know about shapes. I didn't think it was gonna happen with shapes or frames or charts. So maybe I'm just gonna go scroll all the way down to graphics and just double click or drag it. Okay, so now you can see I'm going to make a new page here because there's a lot of content there. I can easily drag and drop things. And so if I want to resize this, I could just drag these little bubbles on the corner and resize it to the size that I want, and then just drag it back over there. All right. Photos, same thing. Same thing. So you just gotta type in uh, your search answer or your phrase. Goodness, and then you can even filter it. So I'm looking at my favorite food. I don't know, purple, purple foods. Right. There you go. And then go to filter, and then just even filter it by the color purple. So now all your images are going to show up purple. So maybe I'll just select this. There you go. So this guy right here, we've got the purple um, cupcake. So notice that there's a lot more space here. We can click on this, and then your toolbar on top here will change based on whatever tool feature you're using. I might want to crop it, make it smaller to fit my little activity here. So just click and drag. And there you go. So now it's a little smaller. I can even resize it. And I can even maybe show you a little bit of the Magic AI. I might not want the purple background, so I'm going to remove that background remover. So that is a saver, time saver in itself. Gone are those days when we're trying to look for, oops, Google Images and trying to import it into some type of program to get rid of that. Now notice when I bring it up here, it's behind oh, now it's not. It was behind, I thought it was. But that's just the layering. So that when you see that, that's just kind of like, I'm dating myself here. I used to play around with Photoshop, Adobe, and that's the layering ordering effect, or like in Google Slides where you want certain things to show up in front of things, and you could do that with position. So it'll tell you, where do you want it, backward to back. So now it's behind the plate, or I could bring it back to front. So now it's in front of the plate. So that is our elements. Text is really nice as well. So, and honestly, I don't play around with text so much because so many of these templates already have a lot of their own font pairings. But here you can see our own brand kit for BOSI. So if I'm working on an official document, uh, I could use that. But if you keep scrolling down, you'll see some more of these really nice types of fonts that you could use. Maybe it's for a flyer or a field trip or a menu for, lunch. So you could scroll down, or you can even type in an idea. So maybe I want more of a handwriting type. So if I type that in the search bar, all of the fonts that has handwriting or is handwritten will show up. Now, this is what I think Noel was saying before. If you see any of these crowns or pro things, it's a premium account. But if you've got the Canva for Educator verified account, you can still use them. It won't really show up as, no, so where did it go? Oh, here we go. It's really, really small. So over here, notice that my toolbar changes based on now that I'm in my text. I'm going to go over here. So you can do your font name, your font size, your typical things with Word, but the effects are also cool. I wouldn't really do that if it's a written or print format, but that's cool. So that is your text. Brand kit, I'm gonna gloss over that unless you have anything to do with your graphic design team or your communications team. I This is already put in by our own team, so I don't have anything to do with it. This is where I would just grab our logos and our color palettes. So maybe let me see if I could do that. Does it even change? Yeah. So if I'm using something and I wanted to have a different color palette for my BOCES, then you can change it or use your secondary palette. Ooh, that's a little bright. I'm gonna go back to primary. Draw is also something that I would not necessarily use. This is more of a whiteboard activity. But unless you're, a teacher and you've got your notes up here, your annotations, then you could highlight something or change your marker or pen colors and make some notes. So this is something I rarely use only because I'd rather just use the whiteboard templates rather than a paper template. Projects is your folders. So another quick, easy way for you to go back to that dashboard rather than have to click in and out of a tab. So here was what I started with. And then the last things, you have your folders as well. So I could just click here and make sure it's saved to my NARIC folder. I know we're running out of time real quick, but I just want to go to apps. Apps is kind of like the supercharging of your Canva here. So when you go to the Discover tab, you can, play around with it, look for some of these trending things. But there are some things that I would recommend. So in my apps tab, um, maybe you're using a Canva presentation and you want to show some videos. YouTube is always a good go-to. QR codes and embed. So if you're doing something interactive, you're doing a poll, you could take any of that HTML script or that embed script, paste it right here, and it will attach it without you having to know any coding right into your layout. And then, I would even play around. I do also have some of the AI. So Magic Media is one of those art generators. So if you happen to not find anything that you wanted and you have a very specific image, you could type in what you want. So we're gonna try to inspire me and see what they do. Ooh, a microbial background, that's great. And you could pick the style. So maybe let's do filmic and then generate image and it will do 4 different generated art images for you. It just takes a little bit, but once there, so it's still learning. It's not quite as good, but it is improving monthly. So yeah, that's great. So if I do use this, it will also be saved in your uploads folder. So any artwork that I generate will be saved, and I'll have access to that. Okay. All right, it's 3:40. Just give me one more minute and I'll finish up with the sharing part. So if I'm done here, I could share this real quick. So this is where you could also go to share this with your colleagues. So if I were to add Virginia in here, all right, so it's just like one of those Google things. You could put their name or their email. I can select her, send her an email message, and I can also select her editing rights. She can edit, comment, or just view. So I'm just gonna let her edit it, send her a message, and she'll get an email invite. And if she pops up, I'll see her initials here and I'll know that she's working on it. If I were just to send this out to, let's say it's a newsletter and I'm sending it out to staff, I would click on public view link and it will create a special link, and then I'll just copy and paste that, and that's what I'm going to send via my email. So when they go into this, they can see it. And there's Virginia. She's adding her favorite TV show. So really nice collaboration piece there as well. And so this nice, I don't have to print out anything. I could just give them the link and they can view it digitally. So that's that. And I don't know what she's doing in the background. You can present it as well. You can download it as a PDF, as a JPG or image file. You can share it on social media, or maybe you did an end of year memory book with your students. You can send it off to Canva and have them print hard copies of it as well. So let's see if there's anything more. More is just, more of the social media aspect or download it to different types. It just really depends on what layout that you're using. So I know that was a lot uh, in 30 minutes, but I hope that I did cover a lot of what you were wondering regarding the dashboard and the editor. I'm just going to ask for a quick favor here. I'm going to copy and go to, let's see, my chat. Where's my chat? My chat room here, and I'm going to drop in our post-session survey. So when you get a chance, please just fill it out a couple of minutes to see. And hopefully you're also signed up for the next one on Canva Advanced. We'll talk more about the Magic Studio. We'll talk a little bit more about the whiteboard as well, and we'll talk about the AI tools. So I hope to see you there. In the meanwhile, go ahead and practice on Canva. Have a good one. Bye, everybody. And stop. There you go.